if you're gonna be there. Was that supposed to happen? I'll hold tight, I'll remember to smile, though it has been a while, and without you does it matter? There's no room, no place to start when our souls are apart. I wanna travel through time, see your surprise, hold you so tight. I'm counting down the days tonight. I just wanna be a million miles away from here. I'm counting down the days. Have you been? Travel through time, see your surprise, hold you so tight. I'm counting down the days tonight. I just wanna be a million miles away from here. I wanna travel through time, see your surprise, hold you so tight. I'm counting down the days tonight. I just wanna be a million miles away from here. I'm counting down the days. I'm counting down the days. I'm counting down the days. I'm gonna be your surprise. I'm gonna hold you so tight.
Family and friends, my name is Vanessa Lee and I welcome you here today on behalf of Bradley's family to celebrate the life of a very special man, Bradley Scott Parks, also known to his family and friends as Brad. Brad's family wish to thank you for attending Brad's service today and for your kind thoughts, your gifts and wishes at this very sad and challenging time in their lives. At this time, I'd also like to welcome those of you who are joining us through the live streaming due to restrictions associated with COVID-19. Brad's family wish to thank you for joining us during these very uncertain times. The family invites you to gather together at the conclusion of today's service inside the function rooms, which are located inside the grounds of the Rookwood Cemetery, for some light refreshments and to talk about the special memories that each and every one of you have shared with Brad. All of us here today extend our deepest sympathies to Brad's family, and we come together today to share their grief. Sadly, there are no words of comfort that could ever possibly cushion the pain that they are feeling with the loss of Brad. In the event of tragically losing a loved one, it has a way of reuniting us in a way that perhaps no other life experience does, and that reminds us to be thankful for each other, and that there's nothing more important than our family and, of course, our friends. Brad was born on the 12th of July 1963 in Ballina, New South Wales, being the youngest of 5 children to his parents Robert and Esme, both sadly deceased. A brother to Warren and Rhonda, both sadly deceased, and he's survived by his siblings Sandra and Narelle. A partner to David, sadly deceased. A loving uncle to all of his nieces and nephews and of course their extended families. A kind family member and a friend to all who knew him. Today we come together as family and friends to farewell a much-loved man who meant so much to those who knew him. I'd now like to share with you the opening reading of John 14, 1-6 and 25 to 29, and John 11, 25 to 26. Do not be worried and upset, Jesus told them. Believe in God and believe also in me. There are many rooms in my Father's house, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. I would not tell you this if it were not so true. And after I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to myself, so that you will be there where I am. You know the way that leads to the place where I'm going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, so how can we know the way to get there? Jesus answered them, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one goes to the Father except by me. Peace is what I leave you with. It is my own peace that I give you. I do not give it as the world does. Do not be worried and upset. Do not be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am leaving, but I will come back to you. If you loved me, you would be glad that I am going to the Father, for he is greater than I am. I have told you this now before it all happens, so that when it does happen, you will believe. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me will live, even though they die, and those who live and believe in me will never die. Family and friends, I'd now like to invite forward Danny to share with us some of the wonderful memories of Brad.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate Brad's life. My name is Danny Hoffman. My wife Tracy is Brad's niece. I've been asked to share a few words and memories of Brad on behalf of the family. Firstly, we would like to offer our sincere thanks to all who provided support and love to Brad throughout his illness. In particular, the many caregivers and medical staff who gave Brad the very best care. Special thanks as well to all who have provided kind words and support to the family following Brad's passing. Brad has left a huge hole in our hearts and lives, and we're going to miss him terribly. But he's also left us with many wonderful memories. Brad's surviving sisters, Sandra and Narelle, and their families were unable to travel to be with us here today, but they are joining us via the live stream. And they've asked me to share some of the treasured memories they have of their baby brother. Bradley Scott Parks was born on the 12th of July 1963 in Ballina District Hospital on the far north coast of New South Wales, the youngest child to Esme and Robert Parks. He loved the far north coast, and it continued to hold a special place in his heart throughout his life. He would return regularly to visit family and friends, celebrating many Christmases, birthdays and special events. Before Brad was born, Sandra, at the age of 15, recalls a feeling of longing that she couldn't quite explain, and she went to her mum, Esme, and asked her to have another baby. At the time, Esme and Robert also had 17-year-old Warren, 13-year-old Narelle and Rhonda, who was 11. so you could imagine the response. It was a very definite no. As it turns out, it wasn't too long after that Sandra's wish came true, and much to her delight, her baby brother was on his way. Tragically, early in Esme's pregnancy, the family was devastated when Brad's older brother Warren was killed in a motorbike accident 8 days short of his 18th birthday. Brad always longed to have known his older brother, and in some way he carried that grief with him throughout his life. When Brad arrived, to his 3 older sisters, he was as much their baby as he was his mother's. They adored him. Brad's sister Narelle remembers carrying him and pushing his pram all over the town so that their mum could shop in peace. Narelle's nickname within the family at that time was Rel Ray, which to Brad, as he began to get a handle on baby talk, quickly became Ave. The youngest of Brad's sisters, Rhonda, would often talk about pushing Brad in the pram to the top of a local quarry. "It'll be fun," she'd say, before promptly letting him go. They would go on to develop a very special bond, and Brad was devastated when she passed away after a long battle with cancer in 2013. Sadly, Brad also suffered the loss of his good friend and partner David shortly thereafter. It was a very difficult time for him. When Brad was 5, his parents separated and he moved with his mum to Nimbin, where he started primary school. Then on to Lennox Head, Lismore, before they eventually settled in Green Street, Alstonville. Brad spent much of his childhood exploring the surrounding creeks and countryside. His lifelong friends lived on farms nearby, which Brad loved to visit. Those early days spent in the outdoors were very special to Brad and helped shape the man he would become. He developed a deep love for animals, none deeper than the love he felt for Reggae, his beloved German Shepherd, who Brad raised from a puppy and who quickly became his best friend. Brad attended Cadena High School in Lismore, where he made lifelong friends. He particularly enjoyed their class reunions. Not long after leaving school, Brad moved down here to Sydney and started working in the insurance industry. My wife Tracy fondly remembers visiting Brad in Sydney in those early days and the joy he got from showing them all around the city. He loved all of his nieces and nephews, and when they were growing up, he would regularly make them mixtapes of the latest tunes. His love of music continued throughout his life, as I'm sure more than one neighbour would attest to as he cranked the volume on his stereo maximum amps. In fact, such was Brad's love of music, he chose the playlist for his service today. It's worth noting, though, that his chosen playlist originally included 12 songs, which had to be significantly cut back. Perhaps he had plans for one last dance party. Brad also loved his cars, and I'm told that he had a few over the years. It was a mutual love that we both shared, and I will miss our long discussions on the subject, as well as his of New Zealand and its people, including David's family, who welcomed him with open arms. He wore his greenstones with pride and would say that they carried the love of family, and nothing was more important to Brad than family. Brad faced one of his biggest challenges in the mid-1990s when he was diagnosed with HIV. He was also dealing with the recent loss of his father, Robert. He wasn't about to give up, and with the help of advances in treatment, he got on with life. He didn't have it easy at times, but he made the most of life and was always there if anyone needed him. Last year, Brad was diagnosed with terminal lung disease, and while the prognosis wasn't good, he continued to fight and defy the odds, living beyond the initial prognosis. He gave everything of himself. Even in his last days, he was still hoping for a miracle. He had so much he wanted to do, and he longed to go camping and to have a home with a yard and a German Shepherd, his forever home. Over the last week, there has been one word we have heard many times to describe Brad: kind. He was a kind man. From hospital workers to neighbours, friends and acquaintances, they have all said he was one of the good ones. An honourable man who loved his family and friends and who would fight for what he believed in. To his adopted families in New Zealand and Australia, including the Kelly family in Balranald, and his wide circle of friends, from those he met at school to those he met throughout his life, whether it be in Sydney, elsewhere in Australia or around the world, and to the amazing hospital, ambulance and medical staff. Brad had a heart of love big enough for each and every one of you, but I'm sure you already know that. Once again, our family would like to thank everyone in Brad's life who have shown him love, compassion, support and friendship, and for extending that love to our family over the last week. You meant the world to him. Brad was a loyal son who dearly loved his parents and had a special bond with his mum Esme, who sadly passed away in 2017 at the age of 94. He was a treasured baby brother, a much-loved nephew, and a fiercely protective uncle to his nephews and nieces and their children, particularly Faith, Narelle's granddaughter, who held a special place in his heart. He was a good friend to many, and he was loved deeply. We'll miss you, buddy.
Thank you, Danny. Family and friends, I'd now like to invite forward David to share with us a tribute for Brad.
Hello, I'm David Simpson. My condolences to all family and friends, because very, very sad and missed. I just want to talk about Brad's first day at Alstonville Primary School, and I was the kid that was chosen out of the class to show him around. By the end of the day, Brad had gone home and brought his little fox terrier dog back to introduce me to it. Her name was Patch, and I said, "Brad, she's absolutely beautiful." And his face lit up, and I also had a fox terrier dog. So on day one, I knew that we had a lot in common. And I went home and I said to my mum, there's a new kid at school today, and we'll be friends for life. And she kind of said, "Oh, that's nasty, you know." It fobbed me off a bit, but here we are, and it's almost 50 years later, and friends for life indeed. Have fond memories of Brad turning up at the bus stop because after school, because we'd wait for buses to go to the rural places, and he'd have his cassette player, and he'd play music for Wayne and myself, and on this damn cassette player. So his love for music was always even back then. Brad was one of the most honest and loyal, wonderful and cheeky guys you could ever cross paths with, and a lot of fun. We love him heaps, and we'll miss him heaps. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Family and friends, I'd now like to invite forward both Jessica and William to share with us a reading titled "Don't Be Sad."
Don't be sad. I've lived my life, I've tried my best. The memories I hold dear are experiences that I've known of happiness and tears. The love of family, the good times we have shared, right to the end.
I've travelled life's byways, seen children growing up, experienced life's living and drunk from life's cup. I leave you with memories, with thoughts of you all, but your mind will recall the good times we've shared, the laughter we've had, so please cherish these memories and don't be sad.
Thank you, Jessica and William. They say that every photo holds a memory and tells a story. I'm sure many wonderful memories will come flooding back to you as we watch the slideshow of Brad's life.
Well, there's a bridge and there's a river that I still must cross as I'm going on my journey. Though I might be lost, and there's a road I have to follow, a place I have to go. Well, no one told me just how to get there, but when I get there I know, 'cause I'm taking it step by step. And you know he never showed his face again. That's why your love keeps on lifting me higher, higher and higher. I said your love keeps on lifting me higher and higher. Oh, I'm so glad I finally found you. That's that one in a million girls. And now with my loving arms around you, honey, I can stand up and face the world. Let me tell you, your love keep on lifting me higher, higher and higher. And I said your love keep on lifting me higher and higher. Lift me up, woman. Keep my love going higher and higher. I said keep on lifting. Lift me up, mama.
Family and friends, for those of you who may wish to come forward to place a floral tribute, or perhaps you brought along your own special gift for Brad, or perhaps you might like to come forward and place your hand with Brad and say your own personal farewell, I'd invite you to come forward now. Can we please allow the very immediate family to come forward first, followed by extended family and friends?
When comes to the weary a blessed release, when upward we pass to his kingdom of peace, when free from the woes that on earth we must bear, we'll say good night here, but good morning up there. Good morning up there where Christ is the light. Good morning up there where cometh no night. When we step from this earth to God's heaven so fair, we'll say good night here, but good morning up there. When faded the day and dark
Anyone else would like to come forward?
shadows draw
There is no floral
nigh,
wreath to be placed.
Christ close at hand, it is not death to die. He'll wipe every tear, roll away every care. We'll say good night here, but good morning up there. Good morning up there where Christ is the light. Good morning up there where cometh no night. When we step from this earth to God's heaven so fair, we'll say good night here, but good morning up there. When home lights we see shining brightly above, where we shall be soon through his wonderful love, we'll praise him who called us his heaven to share. We'll say good night here, but good morning up there. Good morning up there where Christ is
And I'd just like to thank Michelle from White Lady Funerals for placing those floral tributes at the end there on behalf of everyone who's watching through the live stream. So thank you, Michelle. On behalf of Brad's family, I'd like to say a very special thank you to all those who have reached out and offered their condolences and shared special memories of Brad following his passing. But I'd also like to thank those who cared for him and provided support, friendship, kindness and love in his time of need. For this, they are eternally grateful. Family and friends, I'd now like to invite forward Maria, and for those of you who can, please be upstanding and join with Maria as we say the Lord's Prayer together. And there is a copy of the Lord's Prayer inside your order of service booklet that you would have received as you entered the chapel today. Thank you.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Maria. And for those of you who can, please be upstanding for the committal and farewell. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his continuance upon you and give you peace. Bradley Scott Parks.
Sometimes you walk like an angel. Sometimes you walk like a man. Sometimes you crawl like a baby.
As you exit the chapel.
Makes me forget who